I've Carlos from Serenity Pictures joining me to talk about an interesting project that they're working on. And I love this one because it's the evolution and changing of how NFTs are playing around in the ecosystem. We see these PFPs, these 10,000K drop collections of images, and that's all very well and good. But now we're seeing music NFTs, and now in this case, movies, films, video production. And I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about this, how it all works, how it's all possible, because I've tried and it's a little bit difficult. So I want to know some mechanics around this.
Yeah.
But Carlos, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Really happy to be here.
All right. So I've been watching this project grow and blossom over the last few months. I've minted I've minted the first movie. I've yet to mint the second one. I was a little bit busy over the weekend when you did the launch, and I'm into the NFT collection. Now, let's get into your background first and then talk about what you guys are doing. So how'd you get into the crypto space?
Well, maybe Rona said a few times, but it was very coincidence. We actually finished wrapping Toxica just probably a week or 2 weeks before the pandemic lockdown was announced here in the UK. So that gave us like a year just to work on the post-production, which I did myself, which is obviously challenging because I did work with a sound designer, a musician, the composer, so it was all distance. But the thing is, as the lockdown happened and the pandemic happened, I think streaming services were like bombarded by like a lot of films, and some of them, the quality was questionable, and not because they were from indie filmmakers. I think it was some studios that needed to put something out there because obviously they were losing money. Cinemas closed down, so that was a big hit for them. So when we finished Toxica, a whole feature film, we feel a little bit like reluctant to just put it out there so you get lost in a sea of other film. So we literally have a feature film sitting down there, which we thought was pretty decent. And we were a little bit upset we didn't find a home. So as things happened, when the lockdown was lifted here, we just went to a pub, and I met a friend who is actually was already a few years in the involved in the crypto, especially Cardano. I was really big fan of Cardano. So he just mentioned NFTs, and obviously, as these people love talking about NFTs, which and I'm very curious, was very new. Like, I was in isolation that year, so I didn't know anything about NFTs. So he started talking about it, about the sort of nuances about the trading, which blew my mind. And understood like 10% what he was saying. But my first thought was, how we can do this? Any films being done? And he mentioned, well, yes, but they still don't know what to do with that. Some people do online tickets, so. And he said, but what about like, is a feature film being, and he said, well, for what I understand, it hasn't. So we went, like, we say, we came swinging to Cardano. Like, we just have a feature film. And as we put it out there, we're trying to figure out how to work with, the community, really. I think the more important thing was, well, first of all, we're going to deliver a good product, a good thing we're working on. So that's the thing, that at least that goal was fine. And we're going to be as transparent as we can. We're not going to pretend we know more than we know. And because, well, background is filmmaking, but we're gonna be there all the time, with the community. And then we work with the guys from Retro NFT, who actually I think Ron is the ones we say like, okay, can we have a whole feature film as NFT? And they were like, well, we don't know. It's like, is it possible? And at least it needs to look decent as well, because our filmmakers' hearts. You cannot put something so pixelated; it's just lose the meaning of we want to.
It has to be in full HD. The sound's got to be there. It's got to be an experience.
Yeah. saying that, is still, we obviously we aiming for a higher quality, but people able to download it to 4K as well, because of the help of the guy from Red NFTs who work on token perks, which is we able to give the holders utilities through token perks. Basically, they can connect the wallet and they can download everything we put out there, depending of what PFP they get or what film they get. But we keep updating things. Like now we working on subtitles, different languages, like 6 different languages, which they're going to be available in token perks for anyone who holds the film, So we're going to keep, and that's probably is linked to what we're doing in this blockchain when people are getting our film. We sort of, they're like the shareholders for us. I don't know how to put it in film terms. When you, in the time you get points from a film, I believe that's how can we treat our holders. So we're trying to keep them as much as we can, as we're learning, as we're working in other films, especially our next film. So they obviously now they're going to see how we're going to develop a film from scratch, which is, I guess is pretty exciting.
It is very exciting.
Yeah,
you said quite a few interesting things there, like like the whole process of the whole process of getting into the crypto space, your friends onboarding you, and then meeting the retro NFT guys. They do a fantastic job of onboarding projects on. So excellent jobs. So
don't sleep either.
Who does sleep in the crypto space?
Oh yeah,
but so their tech enabled you guys to do that high quality video on chain. Because I've tried it even with my audio files, and there's limitations on putting a podcast up of audio files, because there's size limits. You can't have massive files or anything like that. But you guys managed to do the full video on the platform, and it seems to work really well. You can watch it from the NFT.
Minutes. 81 minutes.
81 minutes it was.
Yeah, and I think like 77 minutes, I believe. I can't remember. But yeah, it was a lot of testing back and forth, like with them. To be honest with you, I cannot tell you much about how they did it in terms of technology and development. We worked a lot. Like, obviously, my background is post-production, so basically we work as different file formats, how they I can not to say the quality or the frame as streams. Sometimes you can export, especially for streaming or for just offline playing. So we were a lot back and forth. Me sending the files, there's testing it for a few seconds, saying it lags too much, and then me sending a file I'm happy with without looking too pixelated. That's my thing. Is like, I always tell people, like, just please download the high quality version. That's how you meant to see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so still people watching the in the Pool VM site, which is fine.
Which is totally fine. Like half the time I'm watching on a small laptop screen or a mobile device anyway. So, it's that's kind of fine. But it's good that you can download it and watch the full thing. But and from your point of view, it is that quality control. You do want a good product being released, especially when you spend so much time, like a year's worth of post production on something. You want the best thing out there
worth
possible.
of production, exactly. Like it's I mean, if anything, we wish people watching the big screen. We actually got the chance, especially Toxica hasn't been screening yet, which is I need to not say too much about it. But Claire's Redemption, Claire's Redemption was the launch was in a drive-in, because the cinemas here in England closed down because of the pandemic. So they started putting like drive-ins and cinemas, which I was very fond of, because as a kid back in Venezuela, my dad used to take me to the drive-ins films and loved them. So Clay was screened in a drive-in, and it was really odd because actually Rona, Eva, myself went up to the stage to speak, and you speak with just in front of a bunch of cars with like so it was like I feel like a Mad Max, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
which I
That
love
would
that
be
film.
quite an experience. I love that
Yeah.
nostalgia kind of feel of the drive-ins as well.
Yes,
That's that would have been quite
and
nice.
it was excellent. It was it felt different. The film, as you know, you watch it so many times in your monitor as you obviously work on it frame by frame even. Um, to watching the big screen like that, it felt it was a great experience. And so I wish that as much as we can people experience of films in the big screen because they're made. Our influences is all big screen sort of slow burn sort of films. The
Yeah, yeah,
wonderful noir films in the 50s and the B movies in the 80s. I'm the generation that used to go to the video store and like just basically see the cover of the VHS, and that's not trailer, nothing, just a cover, probably nothing to do with the actual film. And sometimes you get like gems, basically, like
yeah, yeah.
like that angel, things like that. Um,
Yeah,
otherwise, you get like a
I still
like
love that experience. There's some old retro, well, they call it retro now. I was around in that area too. But
yeah.
you go into these older video stores, they collect the VHS tapes and the old DVDs. So you can go in and browse through them. So you get all these
Wow,
old gems movies. It's such a beautiful experience. It's better than like scrolling through Netflix like endlessly for hours trying to
100%,
work out what you want to watch. You got 10 minutes, you
100%.
walk in the store, get a couple of recommendations. You see the little tags on there. It's like, best pick of the week, little things like that. And you find some really beautiful movies that you would never, ever see because they're, not on the streaming platforms anymore. And I love that experience.
Wow, I haven't experienced that. It's over there. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Like back in
wow.
Sydney where I live, there's little like hipster video stores,
Yeah,
and it's a thing. So you go to a couple of suburbs, they collect them all, and they rent out their collections, and they do really well. I absolutely love it.
that's a good
Set one up
idea.
over there.
I might start
Yeah,
that one here.
yeah. Still that idea. Now you said a little bit earlier that you hadn't seen anyone else doing this for feature
No.
films. Now, in all the marketing since you've launched all this, like it's been a couple of months since you've been promoting
Yeah.
Toxica and now Clay's Redemption. Have you seen anyone else in the space, like on Ethereum,
Not
Solana, anywhere?
Well,
Nothing.
not yet. Definitely Cardano. We are the first ones in Cardano.
Yeah.
Now we're still very careful about it because we really don't know because we haven't seen it, but we put out there, and even like when people say no, this one didn't first, and we check, it's like no, they haven't. Even if it was an online ticket or something different, but no one had put a whole feature film in as an NFT. But to be fair, like the idea, because it's still very new. I didn't know
Mm.
how new the whole thing was. But that's one thing, we didn't know how new it was. We felt the new kids because all the people have more experience, but it's very new, the whole thing. So the other day, not gonna say name, although it wasn't a bad conversation, but someone messaged us saying, well, I don't think you're the first one because, and started asking questions really politely as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I think we are, and I started explaining why. And in the end, he sort of didn't believe me. I need to put the link of the pool PM so he can see. And he was like, oh yeah, I've never seen this. Like, yeah, yes, that's what I'm trying to explain, like 3 paragraphs before. But I think it's just because the whole idea is still very new. People don't grasp the thing, so we haven't. Probably get attention, like as you would if something like that happens. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
I feel it. It's growing.
It's an interesting marketing thing because, like you say, yeah, we put a movie out as an NFT, and I think the mentality of most people, because of their experience, they think, oh, you put tickets up so I can go see it. It's like, no. The movie, the whole thing is an NFT. You can
That
trade the movie.
conversation, that conversation, I have it, like we have it daily, without exaggeration.
Right. All right.
Rona
Yeah.
can tell
Yeah.
you how many times she has to explain that in spaces and over, and she feels a little bit embarrassed about it because she feels sometimes she had to repeat herself. And
Yeah.
I mean, but we understand like this is growing and people are learning, and and obviously after the bear market happens and few projects just clean up,
Mm.
um it's challenging, obviously, but it's a solid project, so we're still here. And I mean,
Definitely.
I reckon any project that's survived the bear market is solid, right?
Yeah.
Hats off, to them.
Most definitely. So,
Oh yeah.
what are the benefits then of having this published as an NFT? So, for you as a film studio now, and you're going down this route of putting it as NFTs and selling it that way, is there benefits to that? Are you combining this with regular and traditional ways of publishing and releasing your films?
Well, we not yet. So when we came to the NFT world with Toxica, and bear in mind that was a brand new film we haven't published in any format anywhere else. We came with the ideas. Okay, just let's focus on Cardano. We're not gonna bring out bad habits from the other side. The film industry, as you call it. So we just came very new. Obviously, the benefits from that is you go straight communication with your audience, and you got more control of what you do. It's very limited. That's if that's a count. But again, the people have been following us and being supporting us. They're still there, and actually they're being amazing. I mean, again, I cannot allow to say many things, but some of them join as a collaborators. I joining in the project as a collaborator. So it's been as benefits in terms of It's in terms of audience and peers. It's been probably one of our best experience ever in terms of professional work, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very limited. Obviously, we were affected by the bear market, greatly, because we into the whole thing, which is collapse. We all obviously work outside what we do, so because we wanted to keep this going. So actually, Rona not did it full time. Actually, she's the one who dedicated being in the spaces, being accessible to people, answering any questions. It's too hard sometimes, well, that's another issue we have, I mean, we all work hard. I mean, and everyone so, but then again, went to yourself and other peers, and then everyone's working as hard. Like everyone's like freaking, incredible. Like in terms of how when they work on the projects is 24/7 job, because you're going to be thinking about it, what you're going to do the next morning about it.
Yep. So it sounds like there's some good benefits there, and I really love that direct engagement with the audience. Like I can't see that ever happening in the traditional film space. So that's absolutely amazing. You get feedback, direct feedback, community engagement. That's amazing.
Well, basically, and these people, as they witness, we actually released 2 films. Meaning we can do that. We can do the film part. So we still, because we were gonna work, and I think I'm allowed to say this, as we work on a third project, obviously we still wonder, okay, how are we gonna do this? Are we gonna involve? I mean, the community will be involved somehow, because that's what I want. But obviously, in financial terms, are we gonna fund a little bit with NFTs, or just leave it to the outside investors, but we keep the audience as shareholders, as they've been there from the beginning. We want them to witness what we do. Obviously it's not going to be a reality show because it's insane. I've seen some projects doing that, and I think it's crazy. But hey, if they can pull it off, amazing. I just say no because the quality is not there. It's because I wouldn't like to be directing and. Just by the way, someone is watching you. Anyway, so we still see where we're going, because as you can see, everything is developing. I mean, Cardano itself, the blockchain itself. So we try to probably by early next year we make a decision how we can introduce this to the community, really. So
Brilliant.
yeah, I think that's where we're going. And I mean, we're still working again so hard in maintaining what we do, what we're planning soon, and then
Yeah.
for our next project. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. So there's some really good benefits, but what about the downsides to it all? Obviously, the bear market has dampened everyone's enthusiasm,
Yeah.
and there's less customers in the ecosystem at the moment. So I can
Yeah.
see that as being a big downside of things. But is there anything else that you've seen like negative that maybe didn't work quite well as what you expected in terms of publishing this out on the blockchain?
I think that, I mean, it's just the limitations. I mean, technology, obviously, like there's a bit. No, I won't say it's a negative. It's just a limitation that we just need to work around it. One way. That's how big things come across when you are a limitation and you find a solution. Um, and I mean, the good thing is, if you see the history of breakthroughs in any industry or any area, sometimes come from that side. From them, because when you in an area working for so long, sometimes you get a little bit that paradigm of that shifting of work. So when someone comes with a new idea with different things, thinking outside the box, people say, innovation comes. So I'm not saying, by the way, it's from us. I'm sure it's coming from any other projects, and we keeping an eye on that, because we love technology still. We're very curious about it. So any integration that is going to happen in the blockchain with Cardano or all the other blockchains, we planning to develop with them. So no, I don't think it's negative, more than just the limitation of what we can do at the moment, because we want to
Yeah,
do more. We want to do
yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
And
So we
and
obviously
speaking
we're
of
limited.
And speaking about more, I've seen recently, I can't remember the company that was doing it. I think it's Venice Immersive, actually. They do a lot of interactive augmented reality and
Yeah.
metaverse plays on their productions and whatnot. Have you thought about anything like that? Because having a fledged film or additional experience that was augmented and in a VR experience, that would be mind-boggling if you're interested going down the technology path.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. Let me tell you, and again, I'm not going to say the name of the projects, but even before before the bear market, when we started and we announced Toxica, some people who went into already working in the area with the VR and metaverse just contact us, say, are you welcome to collaboration? To open like a VR cinema or virtual cinema. And we were sort of, wow, we're amazed. And we say, obviously we research a little about the project, but unfortunately some of them didn't survive, didn't mean that even that didn't erupt or anything. It just basically they just couldn't continue, so probably they're posting indefinitely, and they were good people, but life happened. So but we waiting for that. I think, to be honest with you, we cannot ourselves put the energy into that ourselves, because it will be too much. Then I think the filmmaking side of it will suffer, and then the quality of actual production, it won't be the same. But either we actually we welcome to any collaboration, as probably anyone hearing. We open to anyone like wants to collaborate. We love this. We love collaboration. That's what filmmaking is
Fantastic.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So yeah. So I'm expecting that project that's gonna come along, and if they want a film, or even not just toxical filmmaking, but any content that we have so much. We work in animation, short films, so many stuff. Yeah.
something will come through.
Yes, it's very exciting. So yeah, we're so
Okay.
open for that.
So how big is the team? It sounds like it sounds like you've been in film production for a while. So you must have a lot of people around, people that you work with. And how do you pay for all these people? Is it like from previous successful films, or you're funding this through some NFT sales as well?
Well, no, we at the so start with the first question, and before
Yeah.
the core team is very small. It's only 3 people. Ivo Alexander, which is the producer, and Rona, as you know, Rona Walter, and myself. That's the core team. As you know, I've been working, for example, in professional, in basically my area is post-production since 2009. You know, I did work on video games. I worked on Fallout 3, World of Warcraft expansion Cataclysm, I remember. Darksiders. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of video games, by the way, so that's another topic we can talk for hours. So I collected, but I have contacts with friends that work for like Ridley Scott films, and it's incredible how you knew each other. So through the years, working professional with some people liking your work and liking what you do, they say, "Oh, look, if you want to do something, just call me." You know, so that's obviously that's thing. Now for the feature film, that's another thing, because obviously when, for example, I work in a commercial, which we go a set budget, because the client tells you this is the budget we have for the commercial. You contact your people, your DOP, your actors, anything you set, give them the pay is required for the at least here in the UK, they call a daily standard pay, anything, that's fine. When you do a feature, you definitely, I mean, you cannot pay them enough. I mean, when you hear actors getting millions for a film, they deserve every penny. They're like, I respect actors so much, So what we did is at the beginning of Claire's Redemption, for example, at the time I called it a weekend project. And actually it came across because we were working another feature film, and we had a script ready, and we were going to a traditional route, which is trying to get money. We actually found, we invested like £10,000, probably will be like $12,000 US dollars, to make a proof of concept. So it's a film, it's 11 minutes, and it looks fantastic. And even then, and everyone got paid the standard rates and so on. But even then, it was so slow for productions to pick up that up, and they wanted you to change the script, anything. So out of frustration and reading, remember Robert Rodriguez's book, Rebel Without a Crew, which is about the making of the mariachi, his debut film. I just grabbed the camera myself. I just got a Black Magic Pocket, and I adapted a CCTV lens, which is $12 on eBay, because it's very good in low light. And I started filming myself. So I started filming myself. I called a few actors I knew, especially Aki and the lead actor. And I gave an idea, I wrote a bit of the scenes I wanted, and I started filming. And in the beginning, I said, look, what I can do now is pay with my credit card, location, transport, and food. You have to feed your actors. That's the main thing. That's probably a priority. But I don't know where this is going. I don't know where, the only thing I promise you is going to look good. So if anything, just, you have a time. And we did that at the beginning. We created like a trailer. So I edited a trailer that looked like it's small to see, but it wasn't. It's just basically we filmed, and I actually managed to find some investors from it. So again, it wasn't the typical wages the people charge normally, but they compromised with us because they knew they wanted to work with me too, and I think they were really, really like the project too. And I mean, we were talking in the last space. We were talking about it. It was such a great time. Everyone, I will say, some of these people are my closest friends now because we were together for a year, seeing each other every week, working on something together. I give them a lot of freedom to be creative. I knew my limits because I know where we're going. So a feature film, especially independent feature film, is always a story on its own. It's never the same with anyone because it's so personal. But
it sounds so hard to get funding for this stuff unless you have some sort of name for yourself and experience and and the connections, getting the funding for this is difficult. Like not everyone has a spare $10,000-$12,000 on their credit card to go and do this, and the experience as well.
Are we still suffering from it? I mean, I still, believe it or not, I'm still getting, the consequences of that decision. Obviously, I would never change it for anything. But I mean, any indie filmmaker will tell you it's very tough here. But then that's what we do. That's the only thing we do. We just create. And that's why, again, some people went to the NFT route successfully, because they wanted to create something, and they say, well, okay, this is a way I can get funding from a film.
And very quickly as well. It's like you do little bits. You could potentially even release it in stages as you progress, but I don't know how long the post-production works. You mean like different scenes? Yeah, part 1, part 2, and do the post-production as you go.
I think you need to previously think you're gonna release something. So this is personal opinion, by the way. As a creator, as a director, I will say if I think like partial scenes, I will think like that. I will make a scene so you make sure there is a cliffhanger for the second episode or something like that. But for example, if you break Clay, or even Toxic, I would say, they're not going to work like that. You will be so dry and you're not going to come back, because it's not made like that. It's actually made so you understand where you're going. Because we consciously, especially Clay, I wanted to pay homage to those B movies in the 80s. So I didn't want to rush. I didn't want to start with at this moment, everything is like, whoa, look at me, trying to grab your attention. So that's why I always say people watch this midnight, because I maybe found the midnight movies with coffee or a scotch. And that's it. Everything off, headphones if you can, or your good system, and lose yourself into the film. It's not to watch it in the Sunday afternoon. You're gonna miss completely the point of the film. It's an experience, basically.
All right, okay. I'm looking forward to it. I'll go ahead and go through the minting process and get a copy and go through the experience myself and see what it's like.
Yes,
all
please.
Right, so what's coming up next for you guys? We've got Toxica gone through. We've got Clay's minting at the moment. What's coming up next?
Well, we working right now on the PFPs of Clay Redemption, based on the 5 main characters. They're looking great. People can see a sneak peek on our server, Discord server. We planning to release that, I think, at the same time of the event, of the CNFT event in Las Vegas. Might be a really good idea. Might be the horrible idea. I don't know how that's gonna work out. Maybe I still don't know really, because obviously the market, is not the greatest, and the confidence of people minting now probably is a little overwhelming. So we might push it. I don't know, but we're working on that and trying to make a little bit more variety compared to the one only in Toxica, which I really like, by the way. But this one is gonna be the 5 characters. Good thing. And we were talking about something you mentioned earlier. We're gonna cut a percentage to the actors of these NFTs. So at this point, I'm thinking everyone's gonna have each actor, regardless what NFT people get, they're gonna get a 4% royalty. Just because they are my friends and I want to support them any way I can. And I mean, I'm so happy. You feel so happy when you do that, actually.
That's brilliant.
Especially with your actors.
It's a really good contribution back to them, and I guess it keeps them interested in the NFT space and the new way, a new way of publishing.
Exactly, and I think it's something I would love people to do more. Like any other project we involve any talent. I think that's a good way to reward. Like in the old days, people give points. When you make a film, I remember seeing the interviews about George Lucas basically doing mentioning something, helping someone out, and someone, okay, give you a point for this film, like a share. And at the time it was easy. Now it's a little more complicated, obviously. But so I thought that's the idea that has, okay, I'm going to give my actors, the people who work with me, just points. So the key reward, not only the project itself, but it's, I think I remember someone say about one of the Kevin Smith films, and he said, oh yeah, now and then I get a check by like a cameo I did, and it's a nice reminder I did a film. And I thought, that's nice. That's something,
Yeah. And just to see those royalties pop up, you check your wallet the next month and go, oh, well, yeah, people are really digging this. They're buying the PFPs and supporting the project. So that's really
exactly.
Cool.
So we're planning that. And while we're working on our third film, I'm going to go away from Wednesday for 5 days, 6 days. And when I'm back, I expect to have a decent draft of my next film. And then I think we're going to start casting already while we're looking and, into how we're going to find the first funding for development of that film. It's going to be a great film. It's going to be good. You're going to like it. Promise you.
Right. Okay. So if people want to find out more about what you guys are doing, where should they go? How can they mint this latest Clay's Redemption? What's the process? Where we go? What do we do?
Well, you can go to any of our official channels. We go with our website, serenity-pictures.com. You can mint there. You can mint in our Discord. We have a special channel for minting. It's a Serenity Pictures Discord server. You can find it on our website, on our Twitter. We said we never send a private message or put a link in any chat, general chat. It's always we got a specific channel for that. So that's the only way we do it. And you go to our Twitter, we got a link tree. We can find all the servers, but we have a pinned tweet at the moment where the link for the minting for Clay's Redemption is available. I think it's 50% already minted, so we're happy about it. So run and get yours quickly. But we still has a few Toxica left. I think we got 18 Toxicas left still. Toxica was a bit bigger. I would recommend to get Toxica as historically the first feature film as NFT. So. Obviously it's not financial advice, but in a few years it's going to be valuable.
I think so too. Being
I think so.
The first, movie NFT produced and minted on a blockchain, not just Cardano, any blockchain. It's a collector's piece. There.
History with
not financial advice.
So. We are very open and accessible. As soon as we have time, please reach out. If you ask us questions, you can see now we love chatting and we love talking about our creative project. We love collaborating. So just do reach out.
Will do. All right. I'll put all the links to everything in the show notes so people can find the links. Hopefully, fingers crossed, when they do get there, there's still some left. Otherwise, you have to go to the secondary marketplace. I had a look at the PFP collection, the images on the Serenity Pictures website for the Clay's Redemption as well. They look pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that one too. And fingers crossed, I might see you guys or someone at the upcoming events around the world.
Excellent. Are you going to the one to London, Pete?
Unfortunately not. I won't be. Okay. Yeah, I can. I have limited amount of jet setting I can do. So 2 weeks over in the US and then have to come back home.
Maybe next year then. We'll see you here.
Yes. Yeah,
that'd be great.
We'll make it. We'll switch it around.
Exactly.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.